Okay, today I would like to speak a little bit on the Parsha, really three main topics in Parshas Toldos. The first topic, that talks about these are the offspring of Yitzchak, which is Yaakov and Esav, which we'll see later on. And in the Torah it says, Toldos Yitzchak ben Avraham, Avraham Elidas Yitzchak. These are the offspring of Yitzchak, the son of Avraham. Avraham bore Yitzchak. So the question is, what is the repetition? These are the offspring of Yitzchak. You would think that would be enough, but it says this is the offspring of Yitzchak, the son of Avraham. Avraham bore Yitzchak. The second thing we're going to be speaking about is the Rivka's pregnancy and her going to ask Hashem what's going on with her, what that was all about. And the third thing, the third main topic, they're all similar in the same area, is like about the first one, Esav being red and Yaakov being not red, and Yaakov holding the heel of Esav and what it represents and all of that. And now some of this is going to be more focused. The earlier on things that I mention over here, it's mainly going to be the Ramban. I'll bring the Malbim also. I'll try representing it as well as possible, but as I'm reading it, I'm going to explain. And Be'ezrat Hashem, with Hashem's help, I'll be able to represent it in a good way. So we'll start with the Ramban, maybe a little bit of Rashi, and then afterwards we're going to go on to the Malbim, who takes it on to a completely different level, and a very interesting also. It might be a little bit controversial. I'm not judging any opinion over here or trying to see if it's right or wrong. I'm just figuring it out as I'm speaking it, and not gonna decide which one's right and which one is wrong over here. But anyhow, so let's start. So the Torah says, Eila Toldos Yitzchak ben Avram. These are the offspring of Yitzchak, the son of Avram. Avram Elidas Yitzchak. Avram bore Yitzchak. So the Torah continues and says Yitzchak was 40 years when he took Rivka, the daughter of Besuel, the Aramite from Padan Aram, the sister of Lavan the Aramite, for him as a wife. That's a long. That's a lot to say. All it had to say is when he took Rivka bas Besuel, or Rivka bas Besuel Harami. It says Harami, the Aramite. Mi Padan Aram, from Padan Aram. Achois Lavan, the sister of Lavan. Now this we're going to focus on the Malbim over here, but that we'll get to later. The sister of Lavan, Ha'arami, the Aramite, Lo Leisha, for him as a wife. So, but let's go back to the first part. So the offspring. So you see, it doesn't go straight away to say that the offspring of Yitzchak was Yaakov and Esav, but it has an introduction. So when it says Eila Toldos, these are the offspring of Yitzchak ben Avraham. So it means after this introduction, the two people that I mentioned, the two kids that I mentioned, those are the offspring of Yitzchak. So that's just to point out. Rashi brings it over here. Avraham Elidas Yitzchak. So Rashi brings a midrash that because Sarah didn't have children, Avram didn't have children through Sarah for a long time, and then after Avimelech took her, and then afterwards the whole plague situation happened with him, and he gave him back to Avram, and then a year later Sarah had a child. So the Torah tells us that Avram bore Yitzchak. What does that mean? Rashi explains that means because people in that generation said, a lot of the Leitzanid, or the jokesters of the generation said that were saying, oh, it wasn't Avram's child, it was Avimelech. It was from Avimelech. So therefore Hashem made it where it was Yitzchak's face was a replica of Avram's face, and everyone were able to testify and say Avram bore Yitzchak. So that's according to the Midrash. The Ramban has a different opinion over here, and he says, well, he brings the Ibn Ezra, who says Avraham Olidas Yitzchak. Okay, well, no, let's go straight to his opinion. So his opinion is that many times we see that the Torah goes back to the original, to the father of the that links that yichus, that connection, the ancestral father or whatever, and you see it in Divrei Hayamim, and he brings so v'anachon be'inai, what seems correct in my eyes, ki chazar atav ve'echel be'av hayachas. It started with the father of the family line. Keminhag hakatuv lachzor b'anshei hama'ala el rosh yachas, like it's normal for the pasuk in for great people to go to the head of that family. V'chein b'divrei hayamim, and like it mentions in Divrei Hayamim, Kasuv b'nei Shem Elam v'Ashur v'Apachshad v'Lud v'Aram. It says the sons of Shem were Elam and Shur and Arpachshad and Lud and Aram, and v'Arpachshad Yilad Shelach v'Kasher Shlim Chazar Shem Arpachshad Shelach, and Arpachshad bore Shelach, and then afterwards, when it's later on already, I think it's going towards Shelach, and it's going to say his generations. It goes back to the father, who was Shem, which was important, and he said Shem v'Arpachshad Shelach until Avram. So in other words, it's saying all the children that Shem had, and it went back when it wanted to get to a later on generation. It started from Shem again, to remind you that who was Yuchas, and over here it's Avram is the important person over here, and the beginning of this thing of the Jewish nation, of the nation of Israel, Ad Avram, who. So therefore, v'chein yichus binyamin chazel mefra v'achel v'ger holid es kish v'kish holid es Shaul. And same way in Divrei Hayamim we see by Shaul HaMelech. Okay, I'm not going to lengthen. There's a lot to do, so I just want to point it out. That's what the Ramban says. So El Toldos Yitzchak ben Avraham, the son of Avraham. The Ramban saying that's normal. That's okay. Avraham Olidas Yitzchak should have been skipped, but it's not skipped over here because the Torah wants to start from the beginning of the Yachas, from the beginning of the family. The question then is, why didn't the Torah just say, these are the offspring of Avram, Yitzchak, and the offspring of Yitzchak were Yaakov and Esav? Why did it just start from Yitzchak and go and do a reverse way of saying it? Avram gave birth, these are the offspring of Yitzchak, Avram bore Yitzchak. If we're starting from the beginning, just start from Avram gave birth to Yitzchak, and Yitzchak, why did you start from Yitzchak over here? So, the Ramban says, "V'chazar lesaper ze ba'avor she'amar ve'elo Toldos Yishmael ben Avram she'im amar gam ken ve'elo Toldos Yitzchak ben Avram bilvad hinei yishra shnehem beyichus v'ma'ala v'av ki yikdim ha'bechor v'ad she'yaroi she'yatchil ba'Avram v'yomar elo Toldos Avram aval lo rata asad ken she'lo yimnei Yishmael v'nei ketura v'lechen chazar v'yishlim Avram Olidas Yitzchak lemar ki hu levadoi Toldosav v'keilu lo halid achar acher yachashev k'moshe." So the Torah returns to say, why does the Torah have to say this? Because it said these are the offspring of Yishmael, the son of Avram. Because if it would just say these are the offspring of Yitzchak, the son of Avram, and not say these are the offspring of Yitzchak, the son of Avram, Avram bore Yitzchak, then he compared them as if they're the same. And not only that, Yishmael was first, and it made him in a higher level. Right, so that's why it said in this way. And the Ramban asked another question, why don't we say, I should say, these are the offspring of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yitzchak gave birth to, bore Yaakov and Esav, like I mentioned. But the Torah didn't want to say that, because then it would have to say that Avram also bore Yishmael and the other children, and the Torah wants to point out that they're not important over here for the continuation of the chosen, the ones that Hashem chose and made a covenant with, and therefore the Torah says these are the offspring of Yitzchak, the son of Avram. Avram bore Yitzchak. In that way it could point out that Avram bore Yitzchak, and that everyone else are not, as if not connected to him, even though they really are, but like not for this, for the importance and for continuation and all of that. Yitzchak is the real offspring that's called, and therefore the Gemara also says that if someone swears that, let's say, I'm not going to get benefit from the sons of Avraham, he's allowed to get benefit from Yishmael, because Yishmael is not called the offspring of Avraham, even though he actually is physically. Okay, I'll try speeding up a little bit. We just got one subject and we're going very slow. So basically Hashem, Yitzchak prayed for Rivka, his wife, for 20 years, until finally she gave birth. And when she became pregnant, so the children fought, or there was a lot of movement in her stomach, in her womb. And she said, if so, lama zeh, why is this that I am? So she went to ask Hashem. So what does it mean? So this I'm just going to say simply. What does this mean? So Rashi says what it means, he prayed in front of her wife, is that he was in one corner, she was in one corner, and they were praying. And the Ramban, I don't think, really speaks about this too much. The Malbim explains that the Malbim explains that there's a special hashpah, or like something that happens when you pray for someone in front of that person, where they see, and where you it's like you almost, the prayer, you put upon them the strength of the prayer. That's interesting. The Malbim points out. Okay, so the children fought in her womb. So basically, one way we could explain it is that she didn't realize that she had twins, and therefore she wasn't sure what's going on over here, and which makes a lot of sense that she didn't have twins. And I think, according to all opinions, she didn't know that she was going to have twins. So the Ibn Ezra says, Rashi says, Imken lama zeh anochi, why am I? What does it mean, lama zeh anochi? Why am I? And there's a word missing. Why am I? Or why am I? We should continue. The pasuk it's as if the pasuk continues and saying, why am I desiring and praying for children? That's Rashi's explanation. The Ibn Ezra explains why is she asked also in a way that she asked the other people around her, and asked her, did you have pregnancy like this? And they said no. So she asked, why? If so, why is it me? Or not why is it me, but why am I in a different pregnancy than other people? So she went to ask Hashem. The Ramban says that she actually she said, if so, that this is pain and all of this is happening to me, why is this that I am? Why am I at all? In other words, why do I exist? I wish I didn't even exist. I wish I would die, or something like that. That's the way the Ramban explains it. Okay, a few different ways of explaining this. Now, she went and asked Hashem, and Hashem didn't tell her she had twins. Of course, Hashem told her she had twins, but Hashem added. So, she just wanted to know what's going on over here. So, did Hashem answer her question, or did Hashem add to her question? Meaning, answer, like she asked, what do I have? And he answered, there's twins. Or did he add? Like, really, the question is, what was Rivka's question? What was Hashem answering her question? What was Hashem saying? Yes, you have twins. That's the answer to her question. And then adding, and this is what's going to happen to the twins, just because we're already in conversation, I'm going to tell you more things that are going to happen. Or did Hashem actually, was everything she said just everything Hashem said to Rivka, just to answer to her question, meaning to say so in other words, one way to explain it is, yeah, because you have twins, it's tougher, and I'll add to you everything that's going to happen to them. That's one way the Ramban explains. And he brings another one. I think this is more the real pshat over here, is that no, even twins, it's not that bad. I'm not sure exactly. I don't know the reality. I don't know the metzius of this, but I'm just but you have a not normal pregnancy even for someone that had twins. Why? Because two nations are in your stomach, and two nations will from your womb or from inside you will separate, and they will fight, and one will get higher. They'll fight one over the other, and the elder one will serve the younger one. So Hashem was telling her that this is a sign of what's going to happen at the end, or what's going to happen all through the generations, really, that they're going to fight. And at the end of the time, at the end of days, that the Rav, the elder one, is going to serve the younger one. Now, it could also mean that's what the Ramban says, it's a sign, and that now maybe you'll have some quiet. It could also mean that it's like Hashem put that in their nature, such engraved so deep in their nature that already before they're born, they had that like fighting with each other. Okay, there's more to say on there. Okay, this is all based on the Ramban. I think we could go on to the Malbim right now, because Malbims can compare all of this together a little bit, and we'll see if I'll be able to do all of it. We're getting it's already becoming a very long video, and so let's see over here. Okay, now what I think is that there are a lot of interesting things the Malbim has to say over here, but I don't think it's worth it for me to say it now, because it's already 17 and a half minutes, this video. So I don't know, maybe when I start creating longer videos or have it more summarized in my mind where I could say it in a shorter way with Hashem's help, then I'll say the Malbim's opinion over here. But anyhow, have a good day, everyone, and thank you for watching, and please subscribe. It'll really help me. I'll be able to create more videos like this and all of that. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much.